Hey guys, it's Destiny Manifest, and we're back with another video. As you can see, this one is titled Freelancer Tips, 7 Reasons Why You're Not Being Hired. This is for writers, graphic artists, video editors, basically any freelancer out there who is offering their services and who wants to be hired by a client. Before we get into it, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you're always informed when we have new content. And like the video and even share it with somebody who you think that this would really benefit.
So we normally make KDP videos from the perspective of the self-publisher who is perhaps hiring a freelancer. But this video will contain tips for freelancers who are looking to be hired by a client. And we feel like we have a lot of expertise in this area because we have dealt with so many freelancers over the years throughout all of our different businesses that we've run and we've owned. So it was pretty easy to compile this list of things that really turn us off freelancers and that either make us turn down their proposals or job proposals and not hire them as soon as they apply, or we'll only hire them once and then they do one of these things and then we never hire them again. So this is just to help you in your freelancer business.
It's stuff that you can definitely take into consideration. If you're not doing these things, give yourself a pat on the back. But if you find that you are doing some of these things and you might fall into the category of not being hired as often as you want to be, or you can't keep clients, then definitely these might be things to consider and fix.
Number 1 is you won't invest in the tools of your trade. That's a huge one.
This one really bothers us. Like, for example, a plumber, when they come to your house, maybe they'll expect for you to buy like a broken part for your pipe. You know, that's something that's going to be in your house. That's something that, you know, that needs to be fixed in your house. When the plumber leaves, they're not going to leave with that part, right? But when they need a wrench or if they need a screwdriver or whatever tools of the trade that they use, I'm not a plumber, so please don't laugh at me. But whatever the tools are that plumber needs, they will always have them handy. So in the same way, if you're going to be, if you're a graphic designer, your clients expect you to have programs such as Photoshop or Canva, like a pro version. Or, you know, if you're a digital artist, you should have Procreate, or you should have Photoshop, or you should have, you know, InDesign. Whatever programs you need to use for your job, those are stuff that you should invest in. This seems really just common sense, but people will come to us basically saying that they don't have certain tools that we require them to have to do their job. Blog writers should have SEO tools. They should have keyword research tools. They should be subscribed to services that will help them to the proper research that they need to do to drive traffic, right? So in the same way that we expect the people that service us, tradesmen, to have their tools at the ready to do their job, you need to have your tools, whatever the tools of the trade are, for your business, because it's a real business. It's not a hobby. I mean, I know that it's kind of easy to think of stuff that are just on the computer as, you know, not really real life, not a real business. So, you know, in that way of thinking, it's kind of hard for people to get in the mode of thinking of their freelancing service as a real business, but you have to treat it like one.
Another thing too, I think people might either not see it as a real business, or they're thinking, I don't want to spend anything in case I don't make anything. So I don't want to invest in tools. I know that they're out there, but if I spend money on those tools, I might not get any clients, and then that's just a waste of money. And that is not only being cheap, but that is a lack mentality. You need to have faith in yourself. You need to have confidence in yourself to go out there and put yourself out there and service clients with whatever skill that you have. Why don't you think you're good enough to get a job that's going to cover the costs of the tools that you've invested in? And that's an issue in itself. If you don't believe that buying the tools is worth it because you might not make your money back, you're saying to yourself, I'm not that good. So if people find out I'm not that good and they don't hire me, then I've wasted my money. You need to get the skills then so you can get that confidence. If you know you're good, you know you're going to make money.
That's true.
Number 2 is lack of skill. So that leads right from our first one. The number 2 reason why we don't hire people or we don't rehire them is we realize that this person is incapable of doing the job that they've advertised. And I kind of blame like trendy YouTube videos a little bit for this one, and trendy blog posts that talk about those, you know, 5 easy work from home jobs that you can start today, or, 10 easy or even 100 easy jobs you can start right now. They make people with very little skill or expertise in a certain field feel like they can just go out and start charging professional fees for their services. When in actuality, even if you do have some skill or some experience in a certain area, everyone can benefit from taking a course, getting an internship, or simply taking a few months to really hone your craft and get really good. Maybe even take a few clients for very cheap just to get their feedback and just to get some practice, or maybe even take free clients just to get feedback, and make sure that you're actually good.
Another thing that would be under the same lack of skill category is expecting people to train you on their dollar. There's such thing as paid training. And that's what happens when an employer hires employees and, maybe at Walmart or, at, a retail store or something like that, they'll train their employees because they will have them for a long time. They expect to have them for a long time. So they invest in training their employees, but freelancers, they shouldn't confuse themselves with an employee. A freelancer is more like a service. It's more like going to a baker and requesting, a dozen cupcakes or something like that. You expect that the baker that you goes to, they know how to bake. The baker is not going to say, okay, I'm a really enthusiastic learner and you can teach me how to bake and I'll bake these cupcakes for you. It's like, no, if you advertise yourself as a baker, you should know how to bake. So in the same way, there are some writers, sadly, graphics people out there. There's some freelancers who really expect for the client to kind of take the time out to guide them on the skills that they should actually have. Not to say that there aren't clients who will take people up from basically having no skills in a particular field and training them to be the kind of long-term employees that they want. But typically it's going to be a client who just wants one job and they can't afford it. So you can't really expect them to do that. They can't really afford to keep this long-term employee. So they can't afford to train you, and that's kind of mean to expect.
Yeah.
So come with the skills and be ready to be able to produce the work that the client wants.
So number 3 is being focused on taking and not giving. So a lot of the time, people who come into the freelancer space, they see it as some kind of make money fast type of business. And so they're so focused on making money, they care far less about how they can actually go out of their way to help their clients. So that's why the quality of their work suffers. Freelancers need to avoid focusing so much on what you can take from your client, which is like their money, and focus on what you can give. What are you providing? Don't worry about the rewards. They will definitely come. If you don't want to serve clients and their customers and make them happy, this sort of job simply isn't for you. Because freelance work is all about making customers happy, making your client happy, and ideally creating a long-term relationship with them so that you don't have to go out and apply for different jobs all the time. You've got regular clients who love what you do and are willing to pay you. Professional freelancers are always brushing up on their skills and learning new things so that they can add more value. That's another thing. This justifies being able to charge more for your services over time. So don't worry about this is a job. If I don't focus on money, then, what's the point? The money will definitely come, and you'll be able to increase your prices as you learn new things and learn new skills and become and hone the skills that you have and become a better freelancer. Then you can definitely justify having the top prices because you've got all these reviews, all these clients, people love what you do and you're good at it. Then yeah, of course you can charge your premium fees.
Exactly. We have quite a few freelancers who we've worked with who've developed such a great relationship, a great working relationship with them. And now they're a long-standing team members because the value that they added to our business, just going out of their way to make themselves valuable. Now, they're an indispensable part of our team. And I wouldn't trade them for the world. And that was all through, just going above and beyond, doing what wasn't asked of them, giving me, certain different options and just go. It just shows the passion that they have for their work. And so that's another thing. It's not to say that, some people will do something, they'll be like, well, it's just a job. It's not my favorite thing to do in the world. I get it, and if you're good at it and if you at least be passionate about the money to do a good job, that's great. But it really does show when somebody's truly passionate about their craft, Because I mean, then you just get those like indispensable freelancers who you want to work with forever. You wouldn't trade them out for the world. And I think that that's something to aspire to. At the very least, be good at what you do. But when you do something that you love, it really shows. Your client sees it. Number 4 is poorly written job proposals.
This is a huge one. This is a major reason.
Yeah. First of all, your job proposal is going to be a client's first perception of you. So why do you want to send a client a resume full of mistakes, something that was clearly rushed through? It screams that you don't really care. And if that's your first impression, a client assumes that you'll only get worse from there, even if that's not true. Even if you just you were so excited, you quickly wanted to get your proposal out, take the time to, stop yourself and really go over your proposal and make sure that, grammar is right. There's not a bunch of spelling errors everywhere. The sentence formatting is correct, because especially this is for writers too. Like, the client's going to expect that you write, even if this is completely untrue, they're going to kind of assume that you write the way that you write in your proposal. So you don't want them thinking that, oh my God, this person is just unqualified. It's kind of judging a book by its cover type of thing. It's kind of prejudging. It might not seem too fair, but it is something that we unfortunately look at, right?
Definitely. And another thing when it comes to poorly written job proposals is there are so many, especially on these big websites like Upwork, there are so many people who are applying for jobs all the time without reading them properly. So they're applying blindly to like 100 job posts a day. So sometimes what us clients will do is we'll make sure that we're writing, like, if you read this thoroughly, make sure to, and we'll tell them to write something at the bottom of our post. We'll say, write this or answer these questions. What's your favorite pizza? What's your, just something to make sure that you read it all and you're thorough. A lot of the time, people rush through job proposals that they don't even read to the end, and they just apply and they don't answer those questions. And it's like, as soon as we see that, okay, you've missed this question, we're just like, you're not a very detail-oriented person. Even if it's not true, even if you were just too excited and you just couldn't wait to put in that job proposal, we're just like, this is not a person we want. They don't pay attention. How are they going to make my work? They're just going to rush through it just like they rushed through the job proposal. So that's a huge one too.
Yeah, that's a quick one, actually. That's a quick way to be dismissed.
Yeah. So number 5 is scamming.
This one is just self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I mean, especially during these times, you see that there's a lot more freelancers who are basically going on Upworks and Fiverr and other freelancer spaces, because everybody's trying to really supplement their income and grow their income, and that's not wrong to do in and of itself. Everybody deserves to make more money, but falsifying your work is not the way to go about it. There are people who will have a portfolio cover that looks beautiful and it's not their work. And then you look deeper into the portfolio and you see their actual work and it doesn't look anything like the cover did. That's scamming. There will be writers who will write something very impressive, something beautifully written, and then when you go to talk to them, their text is fraught with spelling errors, grammatical errors, and it's not to say the minor. We know that in conversations in the chat box, things can be going so fast. We don't, expect things to be perfect, but if it seems like, your ability to write English has dropped so many points from, your writing to your text speech, that's a huge red flag. It's like, this wasn't this person's work.
Yeah.
So I know that most freelancers aren't doing this. So, that's probably most of you guys are safe. But for the ones that are, that's just scamming and it's wrong. And the sad thing is that these people, we know that you have a talent that you're good at. So it's like, instead of trying to pretend to be a pro at something that you're not, why not go into that thing that you really love? Like, everybody has something that they love to do. If your thing is not writing, you don't have to be a writer. Maybe you're better at graphic design. Maybe you're better at voice acting. There are so many different jobs that are that people need freelance out. And you wouldn't even believe there's just the odd jobs out there. There's so many different jobs out there that are so much easier than that you need to be like traditionally kind of trained in. Mm-hmm. So even to do like asthma, or even to read a script for a YouTube video and just have a very entertaining voice, you have a talent. There's a job out there for you. This isn't it. So don't scam.
Exactly. And I will add to that we've had so many experiences with scammers, like with people who advertise themselves as being good at something and then they're not. And unfortunately, we've paid a lot of these people. So they trick you with that initial job proposal and it sounds so good and you pay them and then you get the work back and it is horrible. And you know what? It's like, not only did I have to waste my money paying you, and sometimes I've learned to stop paying for things that I don't like. If I feel scammed, if the work was just not what was supposed to be given to me, I'm not paying you the full amount, But what a lot of people get so upset about as clients is you've wasted our time, especially if it's a long job. If it's something like writing a book and we've given you maybe a month to do this book and it turns out to be awful, I'm mad that you wasted a whole month of my time. I expected this book out a month earlier. Now I've got to look for a new person. Now you've wasted potentially my money if I have to pay you. That's an easy way of only being hired one time and then never again. And then also maybe getting a poor review. So that hurts your chances of getting other jobs in the future. Overall, it's not worth it to scam. Do something that you're good at and that you like. And yeah,
some people love spending time on social media. Why not take a course and become a social media manager? Because that's what you like to do. And you like to interact with people through social media. So you can manage their page. You can manage a business's page or something like that. There's a lot of different things that you can do. You don't have to. There's no reason to scam. There's never a reason to scam.
Exactly. So reason number 6 why you're not being hired, or that you're being hired one time and never again, is rushing. When you're rushing through work, oh my goodness, as a client, I don't like to know that you are not taking the time that I give you to complete work. If I've given you 5 days, for example, and you're turning in work in 3 days, and you're like, look, it's done. You gave me 5. I only need 3. Here you go. That does not impress me at all. It makes me scared. Scared that the work is going to be bad. Which, you know what? In my experience, it's always been bad. I've never liked any freelancer's work. I'll say it right now. That was completed faster than the time I've given them. I think that there are freelancers out there who are so professional, so skilled, so talented that they don't need the time that they're often given. They can do something so quickly, whip something up, and it's amazing. But for most people, they need time. You need time to do good work. There's no such thing in general as being fast and really good. It's either fast and bad, or it takes a little bit longer and it's good. And sometimes it's okay even if you take an extra day. For a lot of people, for a lot of clients, like for us, for example, even if you took an extra day, if it's amazing and you needed that extra time, that's okay. That's justifiable. We can work around that for the next job, right? But if it's just rushed and bad, I feel like you don't care about the work, and I feel like you don't do good work, and there's no reason to hire somebody again. So that's a huge one.
Yeah, that's another big reason why someone will be hired once and then they'll never really hear from us again after that. Just being honest as a client. That brings us to our 7th and final reason. Do well to respect your client's feedback. Sometimes a freelancer will deliver some work, and if it's not up to par, and we always come respectfully. We have a professional relationship, so we'll never, and we always advise, like anyone else, any client, we should always come very respectfully to freelancers. They're hard workers just like everybody else. They deserve that respect. But when a client offers you honest feedback, maybe something wasn't up to the skills that they expected, there was an issue with the work, if it was hard to communicate with you, if you weren't communicative, or if there was an issue, back and forth between us, any advice that a client gives you, that's a golden nugget that you can take into your next job. Don't take it as a hit against your ego. Try to put the ego aside and just take the honest advice and take it into your other job. Because even jobs that didn't go successfully, that didn't go well, you can always get a positive out of it. You can always learn from it. If somebody's saying this person didn't really have the skills that they purported to have and that I needed for this work, and you didn't get the best review for it, instead of getting angry at that, maybe brush up on that skill, see what you can do to improve your skills and basically make your craft better. So those were our 7 reasons why you might not be being hired by a client as a freelancer. If you're not doing this, of course, then, any of these things, then you're off the hook. Pat yourself on the back. You're doing well. If you find that you might be doing some of this stuff, that's definitely something that you want to look into changing. Yeah, I hope that these were helpful to you guys. This is from the client's point of view, so sometimes it's good to hear from another perspective, because you might not always know if you're not really in the position of somebody who would be hiring, you wouldn't know why you're not being hired, right?
Exactly. There's a lot of good YouTube channels out there from freelancers to other freelancers. And it's like very rarely will clients speak about like, hey, this is our actual point of view. This is what this is our experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, definitely a very valuable video. We hope it helps a lot of people.
Oh, we should have a video of the stuff that do make us like hire freelancers, because there's some standout, like we were talking about some of our team members, there's some standout freelancers that really stand head and shoulders above the rest. And there's certain things that they do, little things, they're not even that much more than anybody else, but it makes them really stand head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. So if you guys want a video like that, definitely comment below. Hit the like button. Just, make us know that you like this kind of content and we can make more of it. Otherwise, we might just kind of continue on doing other content.
Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.